Techlearners. In today's lecture, we will talk about Java classes and objects. After learning Java fundamentals, one should learn how object-oriented design is implemented in Java. Fundamentals like tokens, keywords, flow controls, looping, conditional statements, arrays, etc. In our previous lectures, we have covered all these topics. So if you want to know about these topics or want to learn about these topics, you can watch the previous lessons. From today's lesson, we will begin with the object-oriented design of the Java, and we learn how to implement it through programming. Let's talk about the object orientation. There are many concepts associated with the object orientation like classes and objects, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, and we will talk about all these in coming lectures. Today's lecture is dedicated to the basic unit of object orientation, that is classes and objects. So what is a class? Class is the basic unit of object orientation. We can also call class as a blueprint of an object. Class can also be termed as the composite or user defined data types. So let me explain in this way. If we want to make candles, then obviously we need some candle blueprint in which we will put the wax and generate the candles. Now that blueprint can be considered as class through which we generate wax candles. And obviously wax candles are used, not that blueprint is used as a candle. So classes, remember, classes directly cannot be used. So from a class we need to generate an object, and that object is used. Now let's see another concept. Let's say there are many students and all the students have some common properties like roll numbers, name, class. It is a bad idea to create separate classes for all students in Java. So for that purpose, we can create a common class, namely student, and from that common class we can generate separate students with different roll numbers and different names. You will be able to understand later whenever we'll see the program. So let's see what a class contains. Basically, class also used to help us in performing the concept of encapsulation. That means binding two different things together in one capsule. That is, we have a set of attributes in the class and we have set of methods in the class. For example, let's talk about a student. Student has attribute roll number, student has attribute name, and student has properties like study. Student has properties like input details. So a class contains both these things, attributes and methods. So basically study is a method, input details is a method, and on the other hand roll number is an attribute, name is an attribute. Obviously the class also contains some special type of methods known as constructors and destructors. We will talk about these special methods in our upcoming video. Let's talk about attributes. The attributes can be of two types. The class variables, those are directly associated with the class, and to access them we do not need to create the object. And the other are instance variables. To access these instance variables we need to create the objects, or we can say the variables which are associated with the objects are instance variables. The same case is with the methods. The methods can be categorized into two: class methods, which are directly associated with the class, connected with the class, and to access these methods, to execute these methods, we do not need to create the object. And the other is the instance method, which can be accessed or executed only by creating the objects. Now, why these two types of methods are required, we'll see this into the program. Now let's talk about first the example of a class. So the class can be declared with the help of the class keyword, and before the keyword we can use access specifiers and modifiers. So I have used a public access specifier here, class keyword, and I have given the name to the class student. This name can be anything following the naming convention, and make a habit to start the first letter as a capital letter of the class. So in this example, this class has two properties: one, roll number, and other, name. Roll number is an integer type variable and name is a string type variable. So this is having the attribute sections. Then this class is having two methods. One is input method and other is display methods. So remember, with methods we have these brackets in which we can enclose the parameter list. They have the return type, they have the access specification. Don't worry about the methods, we have a separate video for the methods. So now the class contains attributes and the class contains methods, and the class contains methods. So this way, this is a class which is containing two things: properties and methods. Class is a blueprint. Blueprint cannot be used, as we have discussed. From the blueprint we need to create the object, and this object is used. When a class is created, no memory allocation is provided. The memory is only allocated when the object of a class is created. Object implement the functionality defined by the class. So it is important to implement the class. It is basically the implementer of the class. Object is executable copy. We can also call it as executable copy of the class, and hence it is also called as instance. How we can create the object? Let's say we have the class student. So this can be done with the help of the new keyword. So this is the class name, this is the object name, can be anything following the naming convention, is equal to new, and then the constructor. So do not worry about the constructor, we have a separate video for the constructors as well as for the destructors. So right now just understand that in this way we can create the object of a class. Let's see, this is a class, the two properties, and these are the two methods. Then inside the main function we can create the object. Here I have created two objects, S1 and S2. Using these objects we can access the methods of the class with the help of the dot operator. So S1 dot input, in this way we can call input function. S1 dot display, we can call the display function, and these two methods now will be termed as the instance methods, as they are associated with the object S1. Similarly with S2 we can call input, with S2 we can call display. So we'll try to understand more deeply with the help of the program. So let's see, and let's talk about the program that will make us understand more about the classes and objects. So this is a program where I have created a student class using the keyword class. Inside this class I have created two properties, the roll number of a student and name of the student. Within that I have created two methods, one public void input to accept the values of roll number and name. This can either be done by directly assigning the values or can be by accepting from the user. So we have printed a message, input details. I have given the roll number as 01 and name as Tech. Another method to display the value of the properties, the attributes. So here I have displayed the value of roll number and then the name. Now this is a class containing two attributes and containing two methods. Remember, I have not created any object of the class till now. So can I use this class? Let me try compile and run this class. So I have compiled the class, no syntax error, but while I would try to execute, you can see you just see new student. That means the compiler wishes to create the object of this class to be executed. We have not created, but the compiler by default is creating an object because it knows that we cannot execute a class without the object. So whenever we click on this new, it will create the object and then will execute. Now you can see this is the coding part, but nothing is happening because we have not actually created. Now it is asking void display or void input. So with the help of this we can execute void display and roll number is 0 and the name is null, because we have displayed first. And if we'll try to input, then it is asking input details, and again if we'll run display, now the values roll number 1 and name is Tech. So things are executing because compiler has created the object of the class, and still it's not the right way, because if I display first then there are no values, then I input, so it's not actually in a proper way. So let's go back and see that how this can be done in a proper way with the help of creating the object of the class. So now let's create the main function, and inside the main function I'll create the object of this class. Now remember, the main function has to be static. Why? Because static methods are directly associated with the class. So basically this will behave as a trigger point. So this is associated with the class, can be executed without creation of the object. So once the main function is executed, inside this we will create the object of the class, and then with the help of these objects we can do anything. We can call the functions, we can call the properties, we can change the properties. So let's see, I have created two objects, one S1 with the name of S1. So this is the way how we can create the object. We will use new keyword, and with the help of the dot operator I have called input function. Then I have called the display, then again I have created another object, then input, and then again display. Now let's see, let's compile this and see what happens. So now I have compiled, closed, and you can see we have a method directly. We can compile it and all the functions are called. First for the S1 input details, and then display details, roll number 1, roll number 2. Then for the S2 input details, then display details, roll number 1, and name is Tech. Now if you noticed, for both the objects the values are similar, roll number 1, name Tech, roll number 1, name Tech. Then what is the difference between different objects? The difference is that we can specify different values to the properties of different objects. Let's say if I change this S1 dot roll number to 5, okay, let's see what happens. And let me change this S2 dot name to learners, and let's see what happens. Now we are using the same attributes, but with different objects we are performing different values. So let me compile this time, close, then execute. So the two objects are created. Now let's see, for the first S1 input details, display details, now the roll number has changed to 5, the name is Tech. For the second, the roll number is 1 and name is learners. So this is the beauty of objects, that using single class we can create multiple objects with multiple different values. So in this way we can save our time and we can generate unlimited of objects with different values. So this is very basic thing about the classes and objects. It's an unlimited topic. You can learn day by day. You can learn more things related to the classes and objects. Follow the videos and you will learn all. So till now, what is a class? Class basically is a blueprint. Using this blueprint we create the objects, and these objects are basically executed. In the class we can have attributes as well as we can have methods. Now for a basic thing, to execute the class we must have a static function that will provide a triggering point to the class. So this static function will help us in creating the objects, and then with the help of the objects we can use the methods and properties for the purpose. Feel free to ask your queries in the comment box so that your concept will be more clear. Stay tuned, watch more videos. Upcoming videos will make the concept more clear to you. Subscribe the channel and press the notification bell for notification of the upcoming videos. Thank you so much.